Good morning, children. We would be continuing with the rest of the numericals of page 80. This is of totally different type. The first 10 numericals you had were all based on weight and mass and weight, based on that relationship. Now this is based on free fall. Okay, I remember I gave an introduction of this in the previous video, but still we'll quickly do it. Okay, we're going to see about free fall, any body that is falling freely under gravity. Now there are two possibilities. The body can either go up or it can come down. Now for a body going up, final velocity will be 0. You have to throw with the velocity, then only it will go up. So but it will go to a height. Okay, as you throw it up with the velocity, its velocity will keep on decreasing and it will reach a height where its velocity will be 0. It can't go up beyond that, then it will start coming down. So we say for the upward journey, final velocity will be 0 and g will be minus 9.8 meter per second square. Why? In an upward journey, the body is going against the gravity. So g is minus 9.8 meter per second square. Now these two are known conclusions. For a body moving downwards, initial velocity will be 0, because whenever you're dropping a body down, you don't have to give any velocity. Okay, you just have to drop it. Means it will start with 0 velocity but hit the ground with a higher velocity. It will have a final velocity. On g, you will take it as plus 9.8 meter per second square. Okay, so these two conclusions. So in the numerical, either it will be upward journey or downward journey, and these two conclusions, they will not give in the question. You have to take, assume, or you have to take it by yourself. Okay, so basically we'll be using the three equations of motion, these 10 numericals. So v is equal to u plus, in place of a we'll write g because it is free fall under gravity, so gt. Then s will become h, height. You will, because it's thrown upward coming down, we'll call it as vertical. Instead of s, you will write h, ut plus half gt square. Then the third equation will become v square minus u square is equal to 2gh. Instead of s, again here h. So these are the equations of motion. Using these equations, we'll be solving this numericals. So we'll start with ninth one. I remember we had left the ninth one, so we'll start with the ninth one. A ball is released from a height and it reaches the ground in 3 seconds. So it's a downward journey. Yeah, it's a downward journey. It's released from a height means it is a downward journey. The moment you see downward journey, you can take these two conclusions. Okay, so u will be 0 and g will be plus 9.8 meter per second square. Then a ball is released from a height and it reaches the ground in 3 seconds. So time taken is 3 seconds. It takes 3 seconds for it to reach the ground. G is 9.8 meter per second square. Find the height from which the ball was released, velocity with which the ball will strike the ground. So you have to find the height and we have to find the final velocity. Velocity with which it will strike the ground means final velocity. Is it clear, children? So first of all, write all the informations given. These three are given. These two, it is known conclusions for a downward motion, so you have to write that also. Now using these information, we have to find h and we have to find v. So u, g, t are there and we can use the first equation. V is equal to u plus gt. So we have to find u is 0, g is 9.8 into 3. Okay, 9.8 into 3. This will be 29.4 meter per second. And the second one, we have to find h. Okay, either you take the first equation, second equation, or the third equation. Okay, ut plus half gt square. So u is 0, so this term will become 0. Half into 9.8 into t square is 3 square. So 4.9, so it will be 4.9 into 9, it will be 44.1 meters. 44.1 meter. Okay, so this is how the sum has to be solved. Okay, so these conclusions are very important. Okay, now let's go to the 11th numerical. This one is a body thrown upward. See the question. I'll read the question first. A ball is thrown vertically upwards. It goes to a height 20 meter and then returns to the ground, taking acceleration due to gravity g to be 10 meter per second square. If they tell you to take 10, you have to take 10. Find initial velocity of the ball, final velocity of the ball on reaching the ground, and total time of journey of the ball. A ball is thrown vertically upwards. So it's going upwards. So what are our conclusions? Final velocity will be 0 and g will be minus 10 meter per second square, because they have told you you can take 10. Because if you take 10, calculations will be simpler. But if it is not mentioned, you have to take 9.8. That is for sure. And then it reaches a height of 20 meter and returns to the ground. Okay, throwing up. So it's having upward and downward journey basically. So initial velocity of the ball. So when you threw up, you should have thrown with a velocity. We have to find that. H, V and G we know. You have to find U. You can use the third equation. V square minus U square is equal to 2GH. 0 minus U square is equal to 2 into minus 10 into 20. This minus and this minus will get cut. So u square will be 400 and u will be 20 meter per second. Square root of 400, that will be 20 meter per second. Is it clear, children? So when this was thrown up, it should have been thrown with a velocity 20 meter per second. So that is the initial velocity of the ball. Final velocity of the ball on reaching the ground. Now always remember, now this ball is going up. Okay, first upward journey, it reaches a maximum height. Then it's coming down also. It's coming back to the ground. Okay, so in the upward journey, final velocity will be 0. It's thrown with this 20 meter per second. And in the downward journey, it will start with 0 velocity and it will reach the same velocity with which you threw it. So you don't have to calculate. Okay, if you throw it with the initial velocity 20 meter per second, it will reach the ground with the same velocity. So simply you can write, okay, final velocity on reaching the ground is equal to final velocity on reaching the ground is equal to initial velocity when it is thrown upwards. When it is thrown upwards. So therefore, final velocity will be 20 meter per second. Whatever you got as initial velocity, that will be the final velocity. Then the third one, total time of journey. Total time of journey. Now, you can't find the total time of journey directly. We have to find either upward or downward and multiply it by 2. Another thing you should remember, if it takes 2 seconds to go up, it will also take 2 seconds to come down. So we have to find the time for one journey, means either upward or downward, and then multiply by 2. Okay, now suppose let's take for upward journey. So these are our conclusions for upward journey, na? Okay, so we have to find t. V, U, G is there. We have to find you can use the first equation. V is equal to U plus GT. Okay, V is 0, U is 20, G is minus 10 into T, or 2 minus 10T is equal to, 20 minus 10T is equal to 0, or 10T is equal to 20, T is equal to 2 seconds. 20 by 10, 2 seconds. Okay, but total time of journey will be 2 seconds plus 2 seconds, that is 4 seconds. Your final answer will be 4 seconds. 2 seconds for upward, 2 seconds for downward. So total time will be 4 seconds. Is it clear, children? This is one of the numerical which covers everything, every concept, because it has both upward and downward journey. Okay, so this is the way you have to solve this numerical. Okay, many times children forget to do this. Total time ke liye double, you have to double it. They just leave it 2 seconds, marks will be cut if you do that. Okay. Okay, I hope they are quite simple. The calculations are not very complicated. Okay, because you have done equations of motion, this is comparatively easier. Just that you have to remember those two conclusions for upward and downward journey. Okay, next one, we'll be doing 13. Let's do 13th numerical. A ball is thrown vertically upwards. Again, it is thrown vertically upwards. Then it returns 6 seconds later. It returns 6 seconds later. In the sense, you have thrown up, it goes up and then comes down after 6 seconds. What does it mean? Time taken for upward journey is 3 seconds. For one journey is 3 seconds. 3 seconds. Okay, totally it is 6 seconds for going and coming. So when we do solve the numerical, we can solve either for upward or downward. We cannot solve both together. Okay, so we are taking the upward motion. So time you have to take it as 3 seconds only. Okay, then the greatest height reached and then the initial velocity of the ball. So upward journey means, what are the conclusions that you will take? Final velocity is 0 and they have told you to take G as 10 meter per second square and it will be minus for upward journey. Okay, so now we have to find what all? H and then U. We have to find H and then we have to find U. Okay, so V is equal to U plus GT. 0 is equal to U plus minus 10 into 3. So U minus 30 equal to 0, or U is equal to 30 meter per second. So the initial velocity with which this ball has to be thrown is 30 meter per second. Then we have to find H. Okay, you can use either second equation or third equation. I would prefer third equation because one term will become 0 in that. Okay, because V is 0, 0 minus 30 square is equal to 2 into minus 10 into H. So this, as I told you before, the square is only for this number. So this minus will remain as minus. So 30 square is 900 is equal to minus 20H. So this and this will get cut. So your height will be 900 upon 20. That will be 45 meter. So vertical height will be 45 meter. Okay, children. So the numericals are quite simple in the sense, if you remember these conclusions, almost everything will be revolving around that. Certain concepts you should not forget. Okay, total time means you have to double the time. If they give you the total time, Then you have to divide by 2 to take one-way journeys. Time taken will be half of this. And then if you take 6 seconds and solve, everything will go wrong. Be careful with that. Okay. So, I'll do one more sum for you. We'll do 17th one. Okay. 17th numerical. A ball is thrown vertically upwards with an initial velocity u is equal to 49 meter per second. Again, it is a upward journey, but they have given initial velocity. Find the maximum height and then time taken by it before it reaches the ground. Okay, height and then time to reach the ground, not to go up alone, to reach the ground. Remember that. Okay, so upward journey v0 g, they're not given 10, they told you to take 9.8, so you have to take minus 9.8 meter per second square. Be very careful with that. If they give you, take it as 10, otherwise it should be 9.8 only. Then we have to find h and t. Okay, so first equation itself you take v is equal to u plus gt, v0 u 49 g minus 9.8 into t, or 49 minus 9.8 t is equal to 0, or 9.8 t is equal to 49, t is equal to 49 by 9.8 into 10. So 490 by 98, this will go 5 times. So t is equal to 5 seconds. But they have asked you the total time taken for it to come back to ground. So what you should do? 5 plus 5, 10 seconds. So don't forget to do this. Okay, total time for the journey will be 10 seconds. Then we have to find h. Again, you can use any of the equation. V square minus u square is equal to 2gh. V0 u 49 square is equal to 2 into minus 9.8 into h. So 49 square will be, or you can just take it as, so this minus and minus will get cut. 49 into 49 upon 2 into 9.8 is equal to h. Okay, so this will go 5 times. Okay, 5 nines are 45, 4, 24 by 2. So h is equal to 122.5 meter. So height will be 122.5 meter. So this is the answer given here. Height is 122.5 and time is 10 seconds. Okay. So you can cross 10, 19 and 20 children. They are quite complicated. You will have it in 11th standard. Now see the homework. Homework 10th. Sorry, this was not today's work. No, this was last day's work. Okay, today your homework will start from 12, 14, 14, 15, 16 and 18. 12, 14, 15, 16 and 18. So 5 numericals you have got as homework. Please solve it by yourself. Then only you will get a practice of it. Okay, and send it to me today itself. If you have any doubt, you can please contact me. Leave these 2 numericals. Thank you, children.